talking pitching today, core four. What exactly does the baseball pitching entail at Frozen Ropes? We made it very simple. Core four, and we've been very fortunate to learn from the best of the best Mariano Rivera. Four pieces that we want to share, and then at some point we're going to actually see core four in action. Throwing skills. Pitching instruction has gotten way out of hand in stuff that doesn't really matter. So our first core four is throw like Mo, making sure that pure throwing skills, release points, angles coming out are really the most important part of throwing. Before you can teach pitching, you've got to be able to teach, and for young pitchers to actually feel pure throwing skills. Second piece is learning about downhill balance. We hear balance all the time in pitching instruction, but we've got to make sure, because of the incline, the slope of a mound, we've got to teach young athletes that balance is a movement. It's not stopping, it's not staying still, right? It's about lifting and loading at the same time, what we call downhill balance, which is very different from the pausing and the static balance that we see a lot of amateur players coming in. Sequence strength, right? The third piece, right? How strong can you be? We understand the importance of strength and conditioning, right? We can certainly see the fitness in the background and the strength equipment in the background, but if the timing of your delivery is off, as in when the foot lands, if you haven't started shoulder rotation and arm pronation at the point in which the foot lands, you've got timing issues which will affect velocity and health at the same time. And our last piece is really, we kind of took the word elbow and velocity and put it together. Velbow, V-E-L-B-O-W. Our fourth piece of core four, you better have elbow speed velocity in order to generate arm strength to be able to throw hard and stay healthy. So Velbow is how quickly you can get that throwing elbow up and launched, and how good your flexibility is to load that forearm to be able to throw. So core four is about throw like Mo, it's about downhill balance, it's about sequence strength, and the last piece is Velbow speed. Let's take a look at one of our students now. We're here now with Steve Powell's, senior at St. Joe's, been a Frozen Ropes student for quite some time now. Stephen, we're going to ask you some tough questions. Let's see how good your pitching acumen is. The importance of keeping your shoulders straight when you pitch.
Not good.
Why is that?
Because if your shoulders are straight, you don't use your whole body and you're not getting everything that you have. When you go up and you pull down, that's when you really start to tap in what you actually have.
Okay, let's talk about a good balance point. We hear that all the time. You probably have heard it at the high school, even at the college level. How important is it to have a balance point in your delivery?
I wouldn't really recommend the word balance point. When I think of balance point, I think of more like being fluid, being in the motion, going through the motion, and being smooth. What I mean, balance point is just smooth, just being consistent, never like coming to a stop or anything like that.
Our friend Mariano Rivera talks about elbow speed, right? We call it Velbow speed, right? In your capacity as a college pitcher, how do you generate more arm strength through an improved Velbow speed, in your opinion?
A good long toss program, keeping up on your arm care, making sure you're stretching out your internal and external. External is where you get all your velocity from, and internal is how you stay healthy. So it's important to maintain a balance between both of them.
You know, we see the weighted balls all over the place now. They've become the holy grail in getting guys to throw hard. We know velocity-wise, you've got plenty of that from 93 to 99 miles an hour, which is great, and your arm feels good. But any advice, and I know in our Core 4 program, we do use the weighted balls, both the lighter ones and the heavier ones. Some good advice for some of the young pitchers out there?
I would say just be committed to the program that you have. They're all good programs. They vary a little bit here and there, but just stay committed to one program. Don't bounce from one program to the other.
Yeah. Great. Good. Again, one of the core 4 drills that we do all the time is walking into a delivery. Being an athlete is extremely important. You see Stephen at this point, he could be a pitcher, catcher, right? He's just developing arm strength, right? And now you see him actually in his pitching delivery. You don't see him stopping. You see a high knee kick. You see the hips coming out first. And you see that glove really reaching out way before it gets pulled in. Show it from a different angle. This is the angle where you can really see how that front shoulder has to get up in order to drive down, right? What the industry talks about is good tilt. You also notice that that glove, right, has a job to do before it swivels back in. We call it show off the forearm, right? His glove side forearm stays on the plate as long as possible. And you also notice, which for someone his size, watch the arm action at the end. Most pitchers are getting hurt in the deceleration phase. Watch how his arm is kind of a reach and shake. Rivera talks all the time about how the arm has to get loose at the end. And you'll see Steven's arm get real loose and flaccid on ball release. Good. Last piece, we're going to just head out on this side also. Steven, we're going to get one more question for you. The importance of pushing off the mound of the rubber. We hear that all the time, and not to say that who's right or who's wrong, but good advice for young pitchers. We tell them that the rubber is not there to push. Your opinion?
I wouldn't say it's there to push, but you definitely have to be a good pitcher and throw hard. You definitely have to have a very strong lower half, but everything has to be connected, and that all starts with your core and your top and your bottom, and it all mixes together as one.
You mentioned about the core and whatnot, the importance of strength training at a young age. Good, bad, stay away from it. What do you think?
It definitely can't hurt. Definitely helps, but just being in shape and being a good athlete definitely helps.
Okay, we're going to see Steven throw now. We're just going to watch that back foot. Our teaching term is flip the shoelaces, and we don't have to tell Steven what to do with that back foot, but you don't see a lot of pushing going on out there. Watch the back foot, right, as he gets ready to unload. Right, there it is, right? It turns into the throw, or as the pitching coaches will talk about, we're going to turn ourselves hip rotation into foot plan. Watch that back foot turn. So if the rubber was there, it wouldn't be a push. He's just simply separating with good hip rotation as that front foot eventually releases. We'll go one more time, show full delivery. Elbows are in and naturally loose. And up.